Hey, Dur, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Welcome back to At the Table. Sydney here, and we are still in Orange County yet again. This is a little bit closer for us to have our special guest today, which is Dur from Alexander County. So you're a little bit further, you're closer to Virginia, right? You're a little bit further up.
About 30 minutes north of Hickory.
Awesome. So she traveled a little bit to get here, just like we did today, and we're so glad Evilise could welcome us into her kitchen one more time. So, Dur, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm actually born and raised in Thailand, and then my parents is born and raised in Laos. So when we displaced from the Vietnam War, they sought refuge in Thailand. So I was born there, and then we moved to California, Minnesota, and now I'm here, and the rest is history, as they say.
And you said your family's Hmong, so you're not Thai,
yes.
and yes,
I'm not Thai, I'm Hmong. My parents aren't Laotian, so a lot of people that do know the Hmongs knows that we are hill tribes. We live in the mountains in the Southeast Asia kind of type deal, but a lot of them have been displaced and have moved all over the world. We have some that's in Australia, some that's in Europe, a good number in the US as well too.
Wow, super cool. So part of the recipe we're doing kind of came from thinking about that, of just your family being nomads and everything?
Yes. So one of the big things about being Hmong is that as you move and you migrate, you pick up different recipes, right? So this is one of the recipes that we're going to be doing today. We're going to make a summer roll. Yeah. Some people call it a spring roll. I've had other people call it a fresh roll. But with us hitting the new year, I thought this would be a great recipe to try out because it's just so fresh. And sometimes you just want to eat something that's a little bit on the healthier side. It's also, you can do this in so many different other ways as well too, and you don't have to just follow this recipe. If you have vegetables that you like, you can add it in. Like my little one does not like eating cucumbers, so I wouldn't put that in there for her.
Yeah.
But it gives you a lot of opportunity to have a lot of fresh products in it. Yes.
I love that. And we are always trying to think of ways to like get our vegetables in. What's something a little bit different that maybe we just don't want a salad every day, because hey, there's a lot of things you can do with vegetables to make them way more fun. So this, I think, will definitely be one of them. So let's just go ahead and get started.
Awesome. So to start, what I have here is I have some rice noodles, right? And so these are made out of rice flours. Really quick, what I did want to talk about is just that with rice noodles, they have different sizes. So you have some that are like the extra large one. You have some that are fine. Personally, I like the fine noodles a lot better because you're not getting a whole bunch. Now, do you have to use these? No, you don't. It's great if you are gluten sensitive because it is made out of rice, but we're gonna start by boiling these until they're just soft and tender to eat.
Okay.
And I think you have the pot going already, right?
I just turned it on. It's not quite to a boil, which I probably should have thought about that earlier, but that's okay. So we'll kind of get that started.
But while we do that as well too, I do have the protein, so we can talk a little bit more about the protein source. So I have here just shrimp, and the reason why I'm doing shrimp is because, one, the color, I like how it gives you that kind of pinkish color to it too. When I look at food, I always eat with my eyes first before I do my taste buds. And so shrimp is gonna give me that beautiful pink color that I want to add contrasting to the greens, right?
Right.
The other thing to it is you can do it with a lot of different other types of protein source, pork, chicken, whatever you like. And if you're not like into protein, you can also just do vegetables only. You also don't even have to do this, like the noodles as well too, like I mentioned. But we'll go ahead and boil this as well too, cook it down really quick so that we can get them and use them for our recipe. So I'll hand that to you.
Okay, perfect.
The other thing we can talk about as we're waiting to do this, because there is a good amount of prep time, is actually talk a little bit more about vegetables. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I have a plethora of vegetables here. And so what I have is I have some red cabbage, which I don't use it too often, but the reason why I got the red cabbage is one, color, and then two, texture, right? Same with carrots. Carrots has that orange in there. It's gonna give you that crunch as well too. I love a lot of different types of herbs that you're gonna mix in there. So I have some Thai basil. Now, do you know the difference between like regular basil and Thai basil?
I don't. I've always thought that it was a little bit more like the stem is purple. I know it looks a little bit different, but I don't know flavor wise.
So Thai basil, it ends up having a little bit more kick to it, a little bit more heat, which I think adds to that. Whereas if you have like the sweet basil, it's just a sweeter, when you're cooking it, there's not that punch to it. So that's the reason why I like it. I love the smell of basil as well too.
Me too.
I also have some cilantro that's in here that we're gonna add in for color and flavor. You can also add in mint. And that's the reason why this is so great for summer, because everything is so fresh and all these herbs is in season as well too. And then you can just kind of not be so overwhelmed with like greasy food and stuff like that. I have some big lettuce here, right? And so you don't have to use these. Sometimes these can be a little bit more expensive. You can just use like icebergs. The problem with iceberg is that sometimes it just tastes kind of like water to me.
Right.
So I like these because there's more flavor. There's also these leafy greens as well too. And I love this because it has that purple color to it. Once again, eating with my eyes before I do my taste buds.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do as we're doing this, we have these washed already, but we're gonna go ahead and just shred the cabbage a little bit. I'm not using a shredder because I like to just go ahead and chop this well, but we're gonna go ahead and finish chopping this, and maybe when they come back, we'll have the cabbage finished chopping already.
We'll take a quick break. We'll finish chopping up our cabbage, and we'll see y'all back in just a second.
Star Communications strives to provide you with the best video services. That's why we invested in cutting-edge video equipment to bring you new features such as Cloud DVR, Restart TV, local video on demand, advanced parental controls, and higher quality reception. Unfortunately, these improvements require some changes, and existing DVR customers will lose their current recordings. Changes will start the middle of January, so please view all your recorded content. We hope you will love the new Star TV.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we went ahead while our water and everything was getting going. We chopped a couple things, we shredded a few things. So I've got our carrots shredded. Dura, you did our cabbage, chopped that up really nicely. And then we went ahead and added in our shrimp and our noodles. So where are we on those two things?
So our shrimp is ready. We're just gonna drain this. I'm actually gonna let you drain this first if you're okay with doing that, Sydney.
Definitely.
Okay. And then I'm gonna just stir the noodles just to make sure that it is soft. Because these are fine noodles, they don't take quite as long to cook as well too. And I'm just gonna show you really quick what the noodles look like. So the way I normally determine that these noodles are ready is I'll just take them and kind of press down a little bit. Normally when you do like pasta or spaghetti like that, you are looking for that al dente texture. And to me, this is almost what I'm wanting already. So this is good. I'm gonna turn this off. This is soft to the touch now. And what we're gonna do so that our noodles don't continue to cook in this hot water here is we're gonna try to drain out that hot water and then rinse it down with cold water. And then I'll come back and show you how I played it so that it's easier for me to get it as well too. While you're doing that, I am actually going to just cut a little bit of these lettuce so they're a little smaller for me to use. And I have different varieties here as well too. We won't use all of this because when you're rolling your noodles, if you use too much, what ends up happening is it can get a little overwhelming and it's harder to wrap as well too. So I'm just cutting just a little bit. We have our herbs that are in here. I have my cilantro and my basils and mint, and you can use a lot of different types of herbs that you like as well too. You're not just stuck to just that. There is that right there. Now the shrimp, I'm gonna show you really quick with shrimp. What I normally do with them is you can leave them whole like this when you are cooking them, or you can kind of cut them open. When I bought these, I actually bought these raw. You're gonna take the tail off because you don't wanna eat that when you're doing it, and you're just gonna slice them in half like this so that you have them not quite as thick. And I'm just gonna set them off to the side a little bit. The other thing, the reason why I buy raw is because I like my shrimp to be just slightly warm when I am using it. You can buy like pre-cooked shrimp already. The only thing is it'll be kind of chill and it's not quite as warm to my liking as I would. All right, Sydney. All right.
Looks good, I think.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna put our noodles in one of these bowls.
Awesome. So I think we've kind of got majority of the ingredients done already. The last thing I have is just our rice paper, and this is kind of key when you are doing this because, and if you don't mind as well too, Sydney, I'm gonna let you rinse this off so that I can use this to roll it on there.
All right.
So I have two different types of rice paper. Well, they're the same type, but two different sizes. They come in a lot of different shapes as well too. But these are also made out of rice flour as well as tapioca flour. So this is really big, and if you're a beginner, I would suggest you using this. But if you are good at rolling things already, you can certainly use a smaller size. To me, it becomes a texture kind of issue. You don't want to eat too much of this because it can get a little overwhelming with the flavor in that. And so I normally go with this size instead. Okay, and I'm gonna borrow your knife. So Sydney, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to start to roll just a little bit if you are okay.
Okay.
But the thing about these is they're very fine and brittle. So the way they do this is they cook this already and then they dehydrate it. And so you want to be careful not to rip this very easily. You're going to run this in, normally if you have a bowl of water, you could soak it in there. The problem most people tend to do is they tend to over soak it.
Yes.
And so it gets very like thin and it rips really easily. But what we're going to do is we're just going to run this under water very quickly, bring it back, and then we're going to roll it, okay?
Okay. You want me to do a couple of those?
Yes. So the process with this is you want to do it at one at a time. You don't want to overwork yourself because then you start affecting how well you roll this as well too. And so we're going to show you how you place it. The great thing about this now is it's so westernized that you can do more than just vegetables. I know some people that are starting to do like fruits and vegetables in it as well too. I know some that may do different things in it that's not just this. And so we're just going based off what I'm used to doing as well too.
I love that it's very versatile. You can do a lot of different things with it.
And so the great thing about this is Sydney has run this through water. And so one of the big thing about it is that it's going to start to rehydrate and it's going to start to kind of get softer to the touch for you. Okay. All right. So the best way to do this is to go ahead and have everything layered out. That way it's easier for you to get. And then you're just gonna place one thing at a time, kind of know more in the center, and then roll as you go, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is, as we're kind of waiting for this to rehydrate, we'll kind of start rolling a little bit just to get some practice going, and then we'll come back after break, so that way you have some example, and then I can continue showing you how to layer it some more.
Perfect, okay. So we'll take a break. She's gonna teach me a little bit, so you don't see me being terrible on camera. So we'll see y'all back in just a sec.
Just because something may work doesn't mean it's right for your business. Let Star Communications' knowledgeable consultants help you customize a hosted voice system that's right for you. Our dedicated experts work with you to understand your business needs and guide you at every step, from choosing and installing services to ongoing maintenance and support. Contact Star today.
All right, guys, welcome back. We've done a little bit of rolling. Mine don't look nearly as good as Dur's does. Shocker. But we're getting there. We also got a bowl here just because it seems like it's easier, and I feel like it's not getting quite as wet as when I was using.
So one of the things about working with rice papers is you want to work quick and efficiently. You don't want to over wet this, you don't want to overstuff it. And so that we are learning as we're rolling and going that it can get really sticky really quick. And so there are ways that you can do it where it's not as sticky. Like I said, if you're new to this, you may want to use the bigger one, but we did some examples here already, and I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and layer it. So like I said, you do not want to just leave this soaking in the water because it gets really rehydrate really quick. Just basically dipping it in here. As you can see, I'm laying it here, and the way you do this is you really want to layer instead. So I always think in terms of color, so I have my leafy greens first. You don't want to over layer any of the ingredients because too much becomes too bulky and you have a hard time wrapping it up. So here are my noodles. Like I said, it's very easy to get a whole lot of this and then it gets disappear into your rolls, but I'm just putting a little bit in there for texture. I have my cucumbers that I want to add in here. I'm just going to layer it like this with some carrots for colors and then some of my purple cabbage. You could really put, like I said earlier, anything else that you like to go in there. So there's some mint. And so I'm just gonna roll it. Now, if you wanna roll your shrimp, you can too. I normally wait to put that towards the end. But the thing about this is see how it's just starting to rehydrate. Now you have to start working quickly because once it's starts to get wetter, it becomes harder to work with. Now I'm going to take my shrimp and I'm just going to layer it right here and then roll.
That one was much better for me. I'm getting better, I think.
And so here is my shrimp, my fresh roll right here. We're just going to lay it here like this. So how are you feeling now, Sydney?
I think I'm getting better. It's taken a little bit of time, but I do need to cut this. We are cutting our shrimp in half as well, just so it's not quite as big, which I love this too because it gives us a way to make that shrimp stretch a little bit because shrimp can be a little pricey.
Oh yes, absolutely. And so it helps to cut them out. Sometimes I like to butterfly them and put them in there. Now we do have 2 pots of water going here because we've got 2 different sauce that we're gonna try to make as well too. The first one, while Sydney finished wrapping, I'm gonna start showing you guys. I just have a little bit of water in there. And then I have some hoisin sauce and some creamy peanut butter. Of course, you could use a chunky one as well too. And what I normally do is it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'll do 1 cup of hoisin sauce, and I'm just gonna eyeball it in here, quite honestly. But you want about a cup of hoisin sauce. Now, hoisin sauce is basically like a thickened soy sauce, but it has other flavor as well too, such as like chili, maybe a little bit more sugar kind of type deal. And then I'm just gonna mix it in here. So this is the one I would eat with the wrapper. You're just gonna mix this all up. Now, I am a sucker for spicy food. I don't know about you, Sydney.
I like a little kick, but I don't like it to be so spicy I feel like I can't eat it.
Yes.
There's that balance, you know?
Yes, so what I normally like to do is I actually like to add a little sriracha sauce in here. And so if you like to add a little heat to it, you can add the sriracha sauce too. If you like crunch, you can crush up some peanuts and toss it in there. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna mix this up until they get blended, and then you're gonna render it down. And so while we're doing that, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to just let it kind of simmer a little bit, cook down, and then we'll come back for our second sauce and what to do if you're not a big fan of these rice wrappers, okay?
Perfect, so we'll take a quick break. We'll see y'all back in just 1 second.
Let's get out of here.
Protect what matters most in your life with security from Star Communications.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we've got our spring summer rolls done. You've got your sauce done. So what all did you put in the sauce that we missed?
All it is just water, hoisin sauce, and peanut, and you can throw in some crushed peanut if you want as well too.
Yeah, okay.
It's very quick and easy, but the more you stir, the more consistent it becomes, and so that's the key to that. Now, on the other sauce, I do have some water going as well too. This is going to be kind of like a sweeter sauce. I like mine with a little heat, so I'm gonna add some Thai chili pepper. To do this, you're gonna start off with some palm sugar. And to me, I just like palm sugar because when they're cooking it down, it becomes a thicker sauce, but you can honestly use table sugar. All I'm gonna do with this palm sugar is just kind of chop it down a little bit because I'm gonna cook it down. And then that way it has a little sweet taste to it instead. And you don't need a whole lot. The great thing about palm sugar is you can store it back like this. Not the healthiest type of sugar to ever eat, but I'm not using a whole lot either, and they just help me with my consistency. So I'm gonna let that go on. The reason why I wanted to show this sauce, quite honestly, is because if you are not a big fan of peanut, this is another sauce that you can do. And if you are going to do kind of like a deconstructed bowl without the wrappers, you can use this sauce instead of the hoisin sauce. And so there goes my garlic. Because my sugar has started to cook down already, I'm going to add in every Asian family, fish sauce, because this is something that we use. This is basically like fish extract with some extra sodium. It's very strong and overwhelming. I don't recommend a whole lot to use, but it's one of those things where if you don't have it, you're really missing the flavor on it. So I'm just gonna do a few sprinkles in here. Once again, I'm not overwhelming this.
Just a little bit for flavor.
And then
Would you say like a quarter of a teaspoon? If you were guessing.
I would probably say about a quarter teaspoon. It also depends on how much you're making and how much sugar and water you're using as well too. I'm actually gonna add in just a little bit more sugar because I think we've put too much water in here.
Oh, okay. That just means extra sauce, right?
Yes, extra sauce. But you wanna just cook it down until the sugar dissolves. And the amazing thing about palm sugar is that it does actually dissolve quite a bit, really quick as well too. And then I'm just gonna let that cook down a little bit, toss in my garlic, my chili pepper, because it is really, really hot. I'm not going to do the whole chili pepper. These are Thai chili peppers, so they're actually, to me, a little bit strong in flavor compared to sriracha, but they've got a beautiful color. And they look great when you add it into your sauce as well too.
Now, is Asian culture in general big about color? Like, do you
Yes.
feel like that's part? I didn't know if that was just something you enjoy or if it's more of a cultural thing.
I think part of it is because we are also very we eat a lot of fresh herbs and vegetables and stuff like that, a lot of greens. Protein source isn't quite there for us sometimes, so we typically do have more of that red and green and orange color, whereas once you start eating more meat, you get that brown color instead.
Right.
I'm now just squeezing in like 2 slices of lemon because it's that sweet and sour sauce to it. And then all I'm gonna do is just stir it. And the last thing I like to do, because I like a little crunch, if you'll take a little carrot and just throw it in here.
Yeah. A little more than that, or is that good?
A little more, please.
Okay.
Because I like to actually eat the carrots as well too. This is gonna cook the carrot down a little bit more.
Is that good?
Just a little more.
Okay.
Awesome.
Try not to get any greens.
Then I think we are good to go. And then you're just gonna let this cook just a few more minutes. And then we should be good to go with this sauce right here. What I would do now is, we were talking earlier about deconstructed bowl.
Yeah.
All you're gonna do, Sydney, is you're just going to,
I'm gonna chop this up.
Instead of wrapping it up, you're just going to layer it instead. And think of this as a roll without the wrappers, right? We have whatever greens you want to throw in there. We have our noodles. You could throw in your protein and some herbs, and then you're just going to take the sauce and drizzle it over like it is a vinaigrette as well too.
Yeah. So I've just kind of chopped up my lettuce a little bit. Y'all know I love to have my green, pretty much I'm a bite-sized person. I like everything cut into bite-sized pieces.
Yes.
Just because I want flavor in every bite. You know, I mean, it helps to just give it that good flavor. So
I agree with you. I'm one of those people who, when I'm eating, I'm like, I want a little piece of shrimp, I want a little bit herb, I want a little bit noodle all at once in one little small spoonful. So
yeah,
it gets a little bit trickier when you have this giant bowl instead. But I love doing this because it's almost kind of like whatever leftover you have, it's great to just toss it in there, and it's so fresh. It's really, really refreshing. It actually doesn't really fill you up, and by the time I'm done eating this, I don't feel this big bloated feeling of, why am I so full, without even eating much. So
just doing a little bit of everything that we kind of have
hey,
here.
go for it. I would almost, did you chop some, toss some cabbage in there?
Not yet. I am gonna add the cabbage and the carrots as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I might chop up the cucumber a little bit, because of course that makes it look so pretty.
But I love the vibrant color that comes from it. And if you want to toss in some peppers as well too, you can. But remember, we have like red peppers in here already, so it's
it could make it.
But all you're gonna do now is just throw that in there, and you should be good to go.
A little bit of cucumber.
Well, as we're wrapping this up, one of the big things I do want to just say really quick is you don't want to store these like this because the wrappers is going to be too wet. So you can saran wrap this and then you're good to go. And I normally just keep in the refrigerator for about a day and try to eat it as much as soon as possible.
So those are something that you want to have within a quicker amount of time.
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm so excited to be able to taste this stuff next. So thank you so much, Dur, for being on. I've learned so much. I'm sure you guys have too, and I hope that you'll come to visit. We're a little bit further away in Sampson County, so that's why we met here, so that we could have Dur on, because it would have been 4 hours for her. So next time, we'll do it again. You're going to have to come on again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys next time.